What's up, guys? So we are on our way to a pretty sweet pickup. I actually messaged this lady last night on Letgo, selling app, about a pretty nice bundle of Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games. I live in Brooklyn. She lives a little bit deeper in Brooklyn. It's about a 20-25 minute car ride. Shouldn't be too bad. It's a nice way to start my morning off today, Saturday morning. It's about 8:30 right now. We have plans to meet at 9. So, we'll see how today goes. Hopefully we can make a deal. Meeting this girl at a Starbucks. She has an ad on Letgo that I saw late last night. Seller's name is Rachel. When I messaged her last night, she said that, she had a couple of things for sale. It was funny, the asking price was actually like something crazy, like $10,000. And I was like, I don't think that is your real asking price, so how much are you looking for? Long story short, she hits me back up with a decent number. She knows what she has here, but she's not looking for retail, which is awesome. Being a collector, a lot of these items can get pretty expensive, so trying to collect on a budget is big for me. The bundle consists of a couple of Game Boys. There's a Game Boy Color, 2 Game Boy Advance SPs, as well as 2 Game Boy Micros. Now, Micros are getting harder and harder to come by. The fact that there are 2 in this lot really caught my eye, to say the least. And the fact that they are pretty unique Micros is even more awesome. One of the Micros is actually the NES Anniversary Edition, which is that red and gold one. Looks pretty cool. It's actually one I've wanted for a while. The current Micro that I have is actually one of the US released ones, the silver one with the black faceplate. It's pretty beat up. Like I said, they're hard to find. Trying to find one in good condition is pretty difficult to loan, let alone trying to find a rarer limited edition one like the NES edition, so that's pretty cool. The other Micro she has is actually one that I've never seen. It's like this pearl blue, kind of powdery light blue color. I did some research and it looks like it was only released in Australia, Europe, and Japan. So I'm thinking that a decent amount of her items might be from Japan. I saw the picture of the NES edition Micro and there was some Japanese writing on the back. Which is fine. Game Boys are usually region free, so I'm not really worried about that right now. The seller also had some PS1 games for sale. Nothing really of interest, a couple of sports games. Maybe there was one game that I wanted to ask her about. I think it was a Yu-Gi-Oh game. She also had a bunch of Game Boy games. Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. The only thing with that is that some of them looked a little weird. Some of them might be repros. I gotta check it out. I gotta see. I think a lot of these Game Boys are from Japan. I know that the Game Boy carts over there look different. Some of them look real. Some of the Game Boy Advance games look real. Other ones, they look a little off. So I'm gonna see what she has in person, separate the real from the fake, and try to make her an offer on only the authentic stuff. My best guess is that she bought a lot of cartridges in Japan, and then when she came here to New York, she bought some more games. And I think that those ones are the ones that look real. The ones that look a little off. They might be repros, they might be, from Japan, maybe some PAL games. We gotta see what we have when we get there. As a collector, I'm not really into reproduction cartridges. They're cool to have as placeholders. Let's say you want to actually play the game on original hardware, but a lot of these games can get expensive, and no one really wants to spend $100 to $200 on a single cartridge anymore. So in that sense, reproductions are good to have as placeholders. As an actual collector, though, I'm not really a fan of having them in my collection. I'd rather stick it out and wait to see if I can get the actual game itself for a pretty fair price. But generally speaking, I think if you have reproduction cards, that's fine. Just, as long as you don't try to pass them off as authentic or legitimate, that's cool. I get that you want to play them on, you want to play the actual game on original hardware. Sure, you can mod, a 3DS or some other console to play these games, but there's nothing like holding the actual console in your hands. So for that, reproductions are good. I gotta say though, I am a huge Game Boy Advance fan. Huge. It's probably my all-time favorite handheld. I remember being a kid, I saved my allowance for quite some time. That was actually the first handheld console, that I purchased with my own money. So I was saving my money quite a bit as a little 12-year-old kid to get this thing. As a 12-year-old kid, my allowance was maybe like $8 a week. I think later on it got bumped up to $10 a week, but the Game Boy Advance, when it came out, the asking price was, I believe, something between $100 and $200. So $8 a week. I remember I pre-ordered it at Toys R Us. I think I put down like $20 to pre-order it. I had done that, say maybe 6 months before it came out. Pre-ordered that puppy, and from there I just saved my money every week. My allowance went to my Game Boy Advance fund. I remember getting the Game Boy Advance the day it came out. My mother had taken me to Toys R Us to pick up my pre-order, and wow, I was just totally blown away. The fact that I had a Super Nintendo in my pocket was incredible. I remember it came in the GameCube purple, the indigo color. It also came in Glacier, which was clear. I think there was a white color. I don't know. I picked up the Glacier one though. I was really in love with the clear look. That was like a fad in the late 90s, early 2000s. Clear N64 controllers. There were some clear Game Boy consoles out there. Game Boy Advance, clear plastic, sign me up. The fact alone that there are so many great Super Nintendo games ported to the Game Boy Advance makes the system a real win for collecting. You have Super Mario World, which is a legendary game ported on the Game Boy Advance. You have also other great games, some of my favorites like Final Fight. You have Doom 2, which I played on PC back in the day. There's so many great games out there. So many great games for the Game Boy Advance. And the fact, I remember that, seeing the cartridges, they were half the size. 32-bit graphics, half the size of a typical 8-bit Game Boy cartridge. I think the Game Boy Advance was the first handheld game platform where you didn't have to compromise your expectations to game on the go. If you compare like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater on Game Boy Color, it's almost really unplayable. You kind of really had to dumb down your expectations for a lot of games. Not all games. Like Pokemon was awesome. Zelda was awesome. There's a lot of really solid games on the Game Boy system, but you kind of had to lower your expectations most of the time. With the Game Boy Advance, I feel like you didn't have to do that. You literally had a powerhouse in your pocket. For instance, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. That game on the Game Boy Advance, man, that was mind-blowing. That was the first game that I got for the system. When I was a kid, man, even now still, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater still is one of my favorite all-time series, Tony Hawk 2, one of my all-time favorite games, and to actually have a mobile version of that game that played and felt very much so like the original one was incredible. Once you get used to that aerial view, that you have in playing that game, I mean, it's incredible. That game looks and plays awesome even to this day. So she has the 2 Game Boy Micros. She doesn't have any chargers for them, which is unfortunate, but chargers aren't a big deal. You can get them on eBay. She has 2 Game Boy Advance SPs. They look like they're the regular frontlit models, the 001s. They don't look to be backlit 101 models. Some of them look a little beat up, but there's nothing a new shell can't fix. I never had the SP101 or the SP001. For some reason, my mobile gaming ended with the regular Game Boy Advance. And I think it's because that Christmas I got an Xbox. I was really into, console gaming in 2001, the whole Xbox versus GameCube era. And Halo blew my mind. When I was gaming, I was playing Halo. For some reason, after the GBA, I never got an SP. It looked cool. I remember reading about it in EGM, Electronic Gaming Monthly. I remember reading about it and thinking it was cool. Wow, this little Game Boy has a light inside of it, and it looks like a little mini laptop. Pretty sweet. The fact that I don't need to use that, magnifying glass light switch monstrosity that I had on the Game Boy and Game Boy Color that was pretty cool. For some reason though, I just never picked it up. I don't remember why. I wish I did. It's an awesome little, clamshell Game Boy. That's my go-to today for Game Boy Advance, but I never picked it up. I don't know why. She also has a Game Boy Color in the bundle. It looks like it's the atomic purple version, which is nice. Again, clear plastic, trend of the late 90s. The Game Boy looks pretty clean from the pictures. I really can't tell too much. But it has the battery back, the battery cover, which is a plus. So a lot of times you find these Game Boys, they're missing things like the front screen protector. They're missing things like the battery cover. The fact that this has it just saves me a, eBay purchase. So that's pretty cool. Personally, I did not have the atomic purple Game Boy Color. I had the teal version, which is like that turquoisey blue-green color. And my sister had the wild berry, I believe, which is that pink fuchsia purpley kind of color. Also in this lot looks to be a pretty nice amount of Pokemon games. I'll probably have to change out the batteries in my soldering iron, but I'm pretty sure I saw Pokemon Crystal, Gold, Silver, the trading card game, which I think is a hidden gem. I love that trading card game. That was a fun game to play back in the day. Again, hopefully these games are real. We'll have to give them the once-over double check when we sit down and talk with her. But Crystal's there too, so she has a lot of good games. When I got my Game Boy Color, the first games that I got were Pokemon Gold and Silver. My sister too. Just made it to the bank. Let's get this money. We are now leaving the bank, and we are off to Starbucks. It looks like the Starbucks is right to my right over here. Yep, there it is. So you always tip your bartenders, and you always pay your meters, especially in New York City. It's no joke. Walking into the Starbucks right here to pick up these games. Wish me luck. We just got back in the car, got some coffee, and got the games. Pretty successful morning here. We'll go over all the loot once I get back home. So we're a couple blocks from home. Gonna get settled in and see what we got. Go over the pickup today. Pretty excited about it. I'm really excited to add these Game Boy micros to my collection. I love the micro system. It's such an obscure little guy. It literally is the most pocket-friendly Game Boy Advance you'll find. Sure, it's got its limitations. The screen size is small. That's really about it, though. I mean, the backlight is awesome. It's a really solid little Game Boy. Too bad it came out pretty late in Advance's life. They actually released the micro after the DS came out, which was really odd for Nintendo. It must have been something that they put some research and development into and they really wanted to release. Hey, I love it. It's cool. It doesn't play Game Boy Color games or regular Game Boy games, but for the fact of its mere portability, it's perfect. And the batteries are chargeable. Sweet. And just like that, we are back home. Alright, so now that we are parked, let's go over everything in the bag. Starting with Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories. Pretty solid game. The only PS1 game that I took from her, to be honest. Everything else she had was like fishing and sports games. This is a one disc only game, by the way. So we are good with that. Game Boy Advance SP. Regular front-lit model. 001. A little beat up. Not really a matching cover here, but I can't complain. Turns on fine. Nothing a shelf swap can't fix. Another SP. This one is blue. These are pretty nice because these skins, usually protect against scratches. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it on it though. Might end up taking it off. Gotta see. Overall though, not too bad shape. Little clamshell case here. for the SP. Charger sauce. My favorite item from the scoop, the Micro Anniversary Edition. Pretty clean. Like I said, it's got the Japanese writing on the back, so I think this one's from Japan, not the States, but that's okay. Condition-wise, is awesome. This pretty cool micro case holds the micro itself, plus what I believe would be space for one game. Another Game Boy micro case. These are pretty cool. This one's blue. Pretty much the same thing as the other one, just blue and not whitish. Now this is the powder blue micro I was talking about. Again, looks to be in pretty good condition. In the picture she sent me, it looked a little silver, but I asked and she said it was blue. This is only released in Europe, Australia, and Japan. So this is a pretty nice collection piece here. Got this bucket of games and a Game Boy. Let's see what's inside. Some cases for the GBA games here. The Atomic Purple Game Boy Color with the battery pack. Looks to be in working order. Might put a new screen protector on it. About it. Pokemon Puzzle Challenge. Pokemon Trading Card Game. Pokemon Crystal. Pokemon Gold. Pokemon Yellow. Again, I'll probably have to solder some new batteries into these, but the games are here and they're authentic, so that's pretty sweet. Pokemon Blue, which is the last of the Pokemon games in this bundle. On to other games, we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Duel Stories, Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, Golden Sun, the Castlevania Double Pack, which is pretty hard to find, Mega Man Battle Network 3 White. Actually, I have a few of these Mega Man games. There's a lot of them on the Game Boy Advance, and I was just simply getting rid of them when I got them, but I'm trying to collect them all now, so this is pretty nice. Mega Man Battle Network 3 Blue, another solid Mega Man title. F-Zero GP Legend, nice yellow label there. Summon Night 2, Swordpath Story. Tactics Ogre, pretty nice Atlas game. Pokemon Video. Some of the Game Boy Advance games came as video cartridges like this one here. And then finally Klonoa 2. Now this is a repro, but it's one that I wanted to play, so I was like, why not add it to the mix? I did leave all the other repro games that she had behind, but I did take this one. The most obvious way to tell it's a repro, the teeth do not say Nintendo anywhere inside there. Not to mention the label's a little fuzzy. Not sure if you can see that on camera or not. And here is everything from today's morning scoop. I am very happy, especially with these two puppies right here. You're beautiful. So beautiful. So till next time, guys, peace out. It's been a great morning.